Hello folks, this year I'm going to be breaking down every NFL game from each week. I'll also be doing them ranked in order from the least to most entertaining games, so stick around to see the real goods. You may have noticed that I'm talking over our first game here. Trust me, you're not missing much. The Saints offense scored the most points in week 1 en route to a blowout of the floundering Carolina Panthers. This organization has ruined Bryce Young, and he'll never become anything until he cuts ties with them. His confidence is gone, and he looks nothing like he did at Alabama. He instead looks like exactly what he was last season. Pathetic and not very confident at all. Panthers, your season is over, and it's week 1. Saints, you put up a lot of points, but I'm not going to give you too much credit until you face a real team. Next week's going to be a big test against Dallas. Number 15 is Minnesota at the New York Giants. The Sympathizers are leading a movement in Minneapolis. Darnold is playing well against terrible opposition for the second time in his career, the first time being when he was in Carolina, playing in 2021. He ended up with some of the best passing numbers this week. Daniel Jones, on the other hand, looks awful once again. Just look at these beautiful interceptions. Malik Neighbors made a nice catch, but the Giants are pitiful, getting destroyed by a fellow basement dweller to start the season. If I'm a Giants fan, I'm getting very hungry for some cutlets. Number 14, Dallas at Cleveland. Them boys are back. What looked like before the week to be one of the most promising matchups ended up being one of the most boring. The Dallas defense feasted all day while the offense coasted to the tune of 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals by Brandon Butter Aubrey. The only bad thing, they didn't let Aubrey try the 71-yarder. He had already tied the record long kick, but it was called back due to a stupid penalty taken by Dallas, and then they edged the entire fan base before going flaccid with an incompletion anyways. Watson's play looked abysmal, and on top of that he has even more legal trouble coming his way. How much longer will you put up with it, Cleveland? Dallas, you just gave your star quarterback a truckload of cash to lose in the wild card round. Enjoy. Luckily for Cleveland, you signed Kadarius Toney after this game, so your offense should go from around 5th worst to dead last. Number 13, Washington at Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield may be legitimately great. He carved up Washington. They may not be a great defensive squad, but it's still a great performance. Mike Evans made this astounding catch as well, and I'm starting to wonder if he'll ever regress. For Washington, Jaden Daniels looked alright. I would say he was the best rookie quarterback this week, although that isn't saying too much. He had 2 scores on the ground and passed for 184 yards. He was certainly more inspiring than Caleb Williams, although his team couldn't come through with a win. Tampa Bay is still my pick to win the fake division that is the NFC South, especially if Baker and Mike Evans can keep their play up. Number 12, New York Jets at San Francisco. The only bad primetime game this week. Fantasy owners everywhere were completely understanding when they heard that the hardest working running back in the league, Christian McCaffrey, would not play this one. It featured an almost full game of Aaron Rodgers until he was replaced by Tyrod Taylor in garbage time. It was kind of ironic, being that Tyrod Taylor may be the only quarterback that I'm more afraid will get injured than Rodgers. Seriously, he gets hurt pretty much every season, it feels like. The highly praised Jets D was dormant against the Niners' offensive machine. Purdy was consistent and mostly relied on the run game led by Jordan Mason, who was fighting to prove that even Ezekiel Elliott could play well behind the Niners' O-line. Rodgers made a couple of good throws, but until the rest of his team starts playing real football, the Jets won't win anything. Number 11, Las Vegas at Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers with a ground game? This wasn't anything we saw last season. In a shocking turn of events, J.K. Dobbins played a full game. Not only that, but he played really well, tearing up the Ballyhooed Raiders defense for 135 yards and a touchdown. Justin Herbert didn't do much, but he didn't have to. The Raiders took an early lead, but after a missed Daniel Carlson field goal, who has quietly gone from a great kicker to just mediocre, the Chargers would never look back. They took the lead on a Dicker I hardly know her field goal to go up by 2, and then a Dobbins touchdown pretty much put the game away. The Chargers have the pieces to be a good team, but that feels like the case every year. We'll see if new and completely moral head coach Jim Harbaugh can turn things around. The Raiders should have been able to do more this game, and I was honestly disappointed by Gardner Minshew, who looked to have taken a step back from his Colts form last year. The Raiders desperately need Minshew and Devontae Adams to take a step up if they want to win any games. The same goes for Zamir White in the running game. Number 10, New England at Cincinnati. This was a close game and a massive upset, which admittedly helps the fun factor a little bit, but it honestly might be one of the sloppiest games of football I have ever seen, particularly on the Bengals side. This fumble at the goal line is just awful. The Bengals always seem to start slow, but I wonder what would happen if they finally decided to show up in week 1. Maybe they could be in contention for the 1 seed a little bit longer. Joe Burrow looked terrible, and Jamar Chase wasn't much better, although at least he has the excuse of not even being with the team until like a week ago. In fact, there was nothing aside from maybe the defense that you could say did a good job for the Bengals, and even then, you were playing the Patriots. I would hope you could at least hold them to 20 or less. Jacoby Brissett wasn't flashy, but he did enough to win, and that's all that matters. The big story was Ramondre Stevenson, who had a great day on my bench in fantasy. You're welcome. This game gets a boost from the hilarity factor, but truth be told, it was pretty boring. Number 9, Denver at Seattle. Denver got to 10 points in the funniest way possible by kicking 2 field goals and getting 2 safeties. The day started great for the Broncos, who immediately picked off Geno Smith and turned it into 3 points. Seattle would tie it with a field goal, but then Denver got the first of their aforementioned safeties. Seattle allowed another field goal and then took the lead on an unironically impressive touchdown run by Geno Didn't-Right-Back Smith. Denver would take back the lead with their second safety and another field goal, but then Seattle took control. There was one last gasp of hope after Bo Nix ran for a touchdown, but Denver committed an offsides penalty and Seattle got a first down to seal the win. Number 8, Pittsburgh at Atlanta. I have sort of a soft spot for close, ugly games, especially when they involve the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh famously kicked 6 field goals with no touchdowns to win this game 18-10. Kirk Cousins looked mediocre at best, though he did have one nice play, rolling out and connecting with Kyle Pitts in the end zone for the only touchdown of the game by either team. TJ Watt looks like a beast, but that's no surprise. He's always been great when he's healthy. The real surprise, at least to me, was Chris Boswell, who was 6 for 6 with 5 40-plus yarders hit. I know he's good, but I feel like he had been slipping the last few seasons. He sure made me eat my words in this one, though. That's pretty much all there is to say about this one. Atlanta, I wouldn't be too worried about your offense just yet. Pittsburgh somehow makes every team play this way. Number 7, Tennessee at Chicago. If you just looked at the final score, you may think this was a normal football game, but it was far from it. Tennessee came out swinging, taking a 17-0 lead before the Bears kicked a field goal for their first points of the game. Then things took a turn. Coming back from halftime, the Titans had to punt. Their punt was blocked and returned for a touchdown. A little bit later, Will Levis made a stupid desperation throw that was picked off and returned for a touchdown. Thanks to an earlier field goal and a 2-point conversion, the Bears then led 24-17, a completely normal score. Neither quarterback looked great in this one, and ordinarily I would say Levis looked better since you know he actually scored a touchdown, but because of that awful pick six, I'm going to say Williams was better just to spite him. Bears fans, you'd better hope Caleb wakes up, or the ignorant fans really are going to think that nail polish makes you a worse player. Number 6, Green Bay at Philadelphia. This game would ordinarily place above where it is, but 2 things hold it back. 1, it was streamed only on Peacock, with no other illegal or pirate-friendly ways to watch. Funny enough, when I say Peacock, no one says anything, but when I say Poopcock, everyone hates me. Oh, yeah, and 2, the field conditions were so bad you'd have thought it was Super Bowl 57. The Eagles won this one with a good amount of points. Their biggest contributor was new addition Saquon Barkley, who put up 3 touchdowns, including 1 through the air. This game was back and forth all day, but the Eagles pretty much sealed things with a lengthy drive capped off with a field goal with 27 seconds left. Jordan Love would make a nice throw to bring the Packers downfield, but he was sadly injured the next play, which allowed Malik Willis to step in and lose the game. Love will be out for at least a few weeks, and Willis is one of the worst NFL quarterbacks I've ever personally watched, so Packers fans better hope Love can be back as soon as possible. Number 5, Jacksonville at Miami. Jacksonville decided to put on a theater performance of their entire 2023 season in this one, starting off strong and then choking it away to lose at the end. Trevor Lawrence had a few nice plays, including his touchdown throw to rookie Brian Thomas, but overall still looked pretty shaky. Tua didn't start out too hot either, but ended the week as the quarterback with the most passing yards. Tyreek Hill had a long touchdown. He must have been very focused, as he had no distractions before the game whatsoever. The Dolphins' offense didn't start out hot as I thought they would, but a win is a win, and if they can show out against Buffalo next week, all will be forgiven. Number 4, Arizona at Buffalo, the first game that I would say is truly a really great watch. Despite seeming like one of the most lopsided matchups heading into the week, this one ended up being one of the most fun games to watch. Kyler Murray is almost always a joy to see on the field, and so is Josh Allen, who started off rusty in this one. The Cardinals started with a 17-3 lead before Allen led a couple of drives to tie it up. Buffalo would then take a 31-20 lead, but their kickoff was dynamically returned for an Arizona touchdown. Buffalo kicked a field goal to go up by 6, giving Murray a chance for the game-winning drive, but he couldn't find a wide-open Marvin Harrison Jr., and the drive stalled out, allowing Buffalo to escape with an exciting 34-28 win. Buffalo, I'm not too impressed with your defense, but your offense did kick into gear in the second half. If you can pick it up against Miami next week, you'll still be okay. Number 3, Houston at Indianapolis. This is what I call the highlight game. Tons of great highlights, but a little bit of ugliness all around. The Colts' Anthony Richardson may have put up the weirdest stat line I've ever seen from a performance generally considered to be good. He only completed 9 passes, but he made some highlight plays. He was also able to put one in on his feet. Stroud made this amazing throw from the ground, and then Houston scored first off of a fair Barron field goal before A-Rid threw one of the most beautiful passes I've ever seen to film watcher Alec Pierce for a 60-yard touchdown. Houston would then take the lead, and the score kept going up for both teams, with Houston staying just ahead. The Colts cut the lead to 2 on a Richardson touchdown run with 2:14 to play, but Houston would end the game with a couple of beautiful first downs to come away with the win. Number 2, Baltimore at Kansas City. This is a big day for Lamar and the Ravens, a chance to prove themselves against what many view as a superior foe. They would start out perfectly, a touchdown for the king, bow down to his might. Even with the Chiefs scoring a touchdown to answer right back, the Ravens are fierce. They will show you who is truly worthy, with a 3 and out. You can't win them all, right? You'll get them the next drive. There you go, your defense gets a huge sack, and you force a punt. Now's the chance to take back that lead. Wait, Lamar? What are you doing? You're supposed to be the MVP, remember? You can't keep giving away points to this team. Whatever, just be thankful it was only a field goal. Now get back up and show them how they play in Merrill. What kind of 4th down call was that? Good lord, you're handing the game away. Your defense is moving worlds to once again hold the Chiefs to a field goal. Now's the time to step up, Lamar. At least you got to field goal range. Just cut the lead to 3 and... Did Justin Tucker just miss? The dude has quietly gone from godlike to just good the last couple of seasons. Luckily for you, Mahomes threw a pity pick to give you a chance to lead at the half. If only you could do anything with it. Take your field goal and thank him for it. 10-13 at the half. Some sloppy ball being played, but you can take back over. Your defense is doing pretty well. Let's see what happens after halftime. Ah, there's Mahomes. Chiefs lead by 10. Baltimore, you need to do something here. And nothing again. Great work. At least your defense forces a punt. Do something on this drive, please. My lord, did you see those moves from Isaiah Likely? It's pretty likely that Mark Andrews is getting benched next week in fantasy. 17-20, right back in it. And there's the inevitable Chiefs touchdown. Wow, Worthy really is fast, isn't he? But Lamar takes you right back to field goal range to cut it to a touchdown, and the defense makes another stop. Here it is, a chance to take this one. A steady fundamental drive and one big splash play leads you right to the doorstep. Time to strike. 1st and goal, and Lamar! You missed that one, but it was a tough throw. The real problem is you may have injured your best receiver. Isaiah Likely is down, and it appears to be serious. 2nd and goal. Okay, seriously? I don't know if that was on Lamar or Zay, but it should have been 6. Last play, please make it count. Yes, there it is. I didn't even know Likely was back in the game, but he caught it, and we're going for 2? Wait. Zoom in. Check his foot. Oh no, he's out of bounds. It doesn't count, and the clock is at 0. Chiefs win. Oh no. You'll be fine, Ravens, but man, that one has to hurt. Number 1, Los Angeles Rams at Detroit. Our only overtime game of week 1. This one wasn't as offensive, unless you're a liberal, as many were expecting, but it was a great game nonetheless. The Rams started off the festivities with a field goal from rookie kicker Joshua Party for Cardi. Before Lions rookie kicker, Jake Bates said hold my beer and kicked one of his own to tie it at 3. The Lions then scored a touchdown, and Stafford had a chance to get some points before the half, but he threw a pick in the end zone. The Lions took a commanding lead with another touchdown after halftime, but the Rams would roar right back, taking the lead off of a Kyren touchdown, a field goal, and a touchdown to Cooper, first one in, last one out, Cup. The Lions then kicked a field goal to send it to overtime. In OT, the Lions would get a chance first, and remembering all of the despair from back then, decided not to let Matthew Stafford back on the field. Stafford has now helped the Lions win 2 important games in the last year, which is the first time that has ever happened. And that'll do it for week 1. Thank you for watching. This is my first time ever doing something like this, and I'll be back with you as soon as I can for the weekly matchup rankings, so be sure to stay tuned for those. If you'd like, you can subscribe as well, or don't. I'm not Deshaun Watson, so I won't make you do anything. See you guys soon.